Good morning, everyone. On behalf of ISF College of Pharmacy, I, Dr. Saurabh Kose, welcomes today's session speaker, Dr. Ajit Singh sir, co-founder and chief executive officer at CliMed Research Solution India Limited. ISF College of Pharmacy, Moga, Punjab, is currently running an online expert lecture series of eminent pharmaceutical scientists worldwide. In the same, today we are going to have a session with very renowned speaker, Dr. Ajit Singh sir. So before commencing the session, I would like to tell our audience about Dr. Ajit Singh sir. Dr. Ajit Singh sir is co-founder and chief executive officer at CliMed Research Solutions India. He is a young entrepreneur scientist. He has completed his PhD in the month of July 2019 in cardiology from the prestigious and eminent Manipal Academy of Higher Education. It's a leading organization in research and education in India. In March 2021, he was appointed as a research scientist for ICMR at the Department of Medicine, Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, India. He also serves as National Director for Research at the World Youth Heart Federation, India. He is Principal Investigator for Manipal Heart Failure Registry, MHFR. In July 2021, he was appointed as Vice President of the Medical Artificial Intelligence Wing at Indica AI, Mumbai. He has published more than 40 papers in different streams of medicine, including cardiology, cardio-oncology, and infectious diseases. He is the investigator and site coordinator for many international clinical trials. Dr. Singh is an honorary reviewer of many reputed journals, including Oxford Group, BMJ Group, Springer Group of Journals. Dr. Singh has been appointed as editor-in-chief for the Journal of Basic and Clinical Cardiovascular Research and an editorial board member for several medical journals. He has received several international research and travel grants from esteemed organizations, including European Society of Cardiology, Indian Council of Medical Research, DST-SERV, American College of Cardiology, and etc. He has received Young Achievers Award 2019 and Young Scientist Award 2020 in cardiology research from reputed international organizations. Dr. Singh has traveled to more than 12 countries regarding his research presentations and invited talks. Recently, he visited Madrid and Barcelona, Spain, to present his research at the European Society of Cardiology's Heart Failure 2022 and European Society of Cardiology Congress 2022. Currently, he holds many significant memberships like American College of Cardiology, European Society of Cardiology, International Society of Pharmacoeconomics and Outcome Research. With this brief introduction, now I would like to call Dr. Ajit Singh sir for his today's talk on literature review. Over to you, sir, and once again, welcome to ISF College of Pharmacy, Moga.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Saurabh sir, for the wonderful introduction. And I would like to thank again ISF Moga, which is our collaborator as well, and the college, the eminent college in North India. And you guys are, known to conduct a lot of lecture series and, the great content for the audience and for the students. I would like to thank Dr. G.D. Gupta sir also, the director cum principal of ISF Moga, and the entire team for doing this wonderful job. Okay, so let me share my screen and let's start. Okay. I hope it is visible, sir. Sir, it is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, great. Full screen?
Full screen, and once you can check the slides are moving. Yes, it is very moving. Thank you, sir.
Great, great. Thank you and good morning again, everyone. So, today's topic is one of my favorite topic because we take a lot of you know knowledgeable webinars, seminars, and courses on paper publishing and research conductions. So, the important component when we talk about the research, when we talk about the paper writing, when we talk about the thesis writing, when we talk about the paper publication, one of the important component is nothing but the literature search. And this is the key component, what I say. You know why I'm saying it is a key component? Because everything when we talk about the research start with the literature. Start with the literature means from the subject search, from the topic search, from the title search, from the aims and objective search, and when you are even searching for the hypothesis and the gap in research, you have to get it from the literature. Literature could be in different terms and different modes, or in different forms, like you are reading books, you are reading journals, you are reading online scientific papers, you are reading from the websites, you are reading from the applications. So everything whatever has been published before is literature, and whatever information is available either in the gray form or in the published form or in the what we say the reviewed form, that is literature. And we all get the information from the literature only. So if we are starting the research, first we go to the literature. Okay, we read, we find the gap. We have a lot of questions in our mind, we are curious. As a student, as an academician, as an teacher, we are the curious people. And we always find out, we come up with a lot of questions and we try to find out the answers. So from where those questions are coming up, like suppose I'm going to the ward, right? I'm seeing some patients and something clicked in my mind. Okay, why it is happening, this, why this drug is causing this kind of behavior, or why this drug is causing that kind of severe event, or anything, why this drug is working only on the pseudomonas but not on the tuberculosis, right? There are multiple things, multiple curious questions what comes in our mind. So where we go to find out the answer, and the only one answer is literature. Either we go to our colleagues, either we go to our teachers, or wherever we go, they have the knowledge, they also have the knowledge from the literature, because that is already published. Either they have done the work or someone else has done the work, but everything which is published and available for everyone is literature. And we get the information from that, either to find out the question or to find out the answer, right? So now there are multiple types of literature, multiple ways to find the literature, multiple ways to search the literature. There are a lot of databases, there are a lot of journals, there are a lot of books. So the main task here is how to search the literature, how to search the correct literature, how to get the correct content, how to get the appropriate content and most relevant content to your paper, to your title, to your research, which can lead you to the perfect process of research, that can lead you to the perfect results, that can lead you to the perfect outcome of the research, whatever you are doing. Research does not mean only that you are conducting the research, but research means you are writing a paper, you are writing a review paper, you are writing a systematic review, you are writing either the original papers. So you need the literature. So before I go to the slides, I would like to tell you, see, you must have seen the review papers. Review papers means there is no need of the extra information other than the literature. You cannot put your views in the review papers, right? You just have to extract the information from the previous published papers, from the previous published systematic reviews, previous published meta-analysis, previously published previously published clinical trials. You just have to extract the knowledge, you just have to extract the information and write it in one composite form, and then you can publish it as a research review paper, right? When I'm talking about original research paper, that's very important. So first you have to give the background information about the topic, you have to give the background information about the disease you are mentioning, the disease you are going to emphasize. So you need the background information about the disease, about the pathophysiology, about the magnitude of the disease, about the prevalence internationally, nationally, multiple things. So how did you get the information? From the literature, right? And then when you are writing the discussion part of any case report or any original research, whether it is clinical based, whether it is laboratory based, whether it is pharmaceutical, whether you are working on pharmacy management, whether you are working in the quality assurance, whether you are working in any laboratory pharmaceutics also. So you need literature to complete the research, you need literature to process the research, because you need the entire process how to do it, right? You might be doing it, you might be altering the process, but the base will be coming from the literature. So that is important, okay, to search the correct and appropriate and the one thing most relevant literature, right? So I'll tell you about how to search the literature for scientific publication or thesis or the research, right? So let's go to the next slide. So first of all, let's understand what is scientific literature. So as I told you, scientific literature is literally nothing but whatever is previously published, either reviewed or non-reviewed. Non-reviewed is nearly known as the gray literature, and the reviewed process or the papers or the literature or the scientific content which has been gone through the review process are known as the reviewed literature or the pure literature, right? So scientific literature is nothing but the principal medium for communicating the results of scientific research, whatever you are doing, right? It represents the permanent records of the collective achievements of the scientific community. So when we talk about scientific community and collective achievements, means there are the databases, there are the journals, there are the libraries, like if you have heard of NLM library, National Library of Medicine, NIH, National Institute of Health, PubMed, and we have Scopus, we have Web of Science. So those are the databases and the libraries to get the correct scientific literature. Like when you are talking about only systematic reviews or meta-analysis, you can go to Cochrane library. Cochrane library is well known everywhere in the world. Like that is a global library only for the top level, only for the top notch scientific evidences like systematic reviews, meta-analysis, and the high end randomized non-randomized clinical trials. So that is also a library where everyone, medical, non-medicals, pharmacies, healthcare science, everyone can get their relevant clinical trials or relevant systematic reviews, and they can get the correct systemic scientific literature, right? So there are that is the collective achievement of the entire scientific community, whether it is medical, pharmaceutical, or anyone, right? And then we can definitely keep it in the different forms, like scholarly publications, theoretical work and original work, review papers, multiple things are there in the literature, right? So there are majorly two types of the scientific literature when we talk about primarily or secondary. So first is primary literature. So let me tell you in my words. Primary literature is nothing but the first hand information. Okay, primary literature is nothing but the first hand information. Suppose I'll give an example. Suppose I'm doing the research here at KMC Manipal, right? I did a 6 month project or 1 year project. Whatever information I got from my results, from my research, I'll be publishing that directly to the journal or some book or some website. That is first hand information. Okay, that has been derived from the data which was mined by me. Okay, that only I only mined that data, I only analyzed that data, right? I only analyzed that data, and that is known as the primary literature, right? So that original scientific research and the report or the results which are coming from.
Uh, Ji sir, just a minute. I welcome
Yes, yes,
Dr. G. D.
continue,
Gurprasad,
continue,
Director.
Kosaji.
Good morning, sir.
Sir,
Continue,
namaste, good
please.
morning.
Good morning, welcome, Dr. Ajit Ji. So, thank you very much. First of all, I welcome you from
Thank you,
ISF
sir.
Dialogue Series as well as in ISF family.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
without you can any interruption, please continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I thank you and ISF Moga again for calling me and inviting me for this lecture series. So it's a great contribution, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we were talking about the primary literature. So primary literature is nothing but the first-hand information which comes from the original scientific research, whether these are reports, whether these are from the, whether we are publishing in the journals, whether we are publishing on the website, whether we are publishing to the libraries, right? So that information is not available anywhere else, which is directly coming from the scientist, which is directly coming from the investigator, which is directly coming from the author, right? So once I publish the paper, that is primary literature. Now if anyone wants to get the information from my paper, If anyone wants to extract the information from my paper and write something like review paper, or systematic reviews, or meta analysis, or they want to publish in their website, or they want to make a book from my publication, or they want to make any kind of periodicals from my publication, the entire thing which is extracting from the primary, okay, which is extracted from the first hand information, is known as secondary literature. Understand? So first hand literature is known as primary literature, and anything which is extracted from the primary literature is known as secondary literature. So publications that synthesize and condensed what is known on the specific topics, that includes either review papers, systematic reviews, meta analysis. See, we all know that systematic reviews and meta analysis are the high end evidences in the research, top notch evidences, even more than or better than the randomized control trials, or better than the non randomized control trials. But why they are the secondary literature? Because they are driven from the primary literature. They are driven from the scientific publications, scientific data from the either the clinical trials or the cohort studies or any type of study, or maybe from the case reports, but that is driven from the primary literature. Okay, maybe in the scientific literature, systematic reviews and meta-analysis are on the top, but those all are secondary literature, right? So that would be either reviews, monographs, textbooks, or treatises, handbooks, or manuals, right? So those all are extracted from the primary literature. That is the major types of scientific literature. But when we talk about the validity of the scientific literature, okay, so based on the validity, we divide our literature into two terms, or we classify that into two types. Okay, that is, one is peer reviewed, one is gray literature. So let me tell you about the review process. What is review process? So let me give you an example. Suppose I'm writing a paper. I have completed my research. I have written the paper. I have written in the given format, whatever is there, information, first in form of introduction, then, methodology, entire thing, whatever I have done, written in the methodology, then results, then discussion, and everything. Okay, tables, formats, figures, everything. I have published and I have submitted that to a journal, right? So there are two types of journal. First, which follows the guidelines, ICMJE guidelines, International Council of Medical Journal Editors, right? If they are following ICMJE guidelines, or if they are not following ICMJE guidelines. So whether if they are following the ICMJE guidelines, they are coming under Scopus, Web of Science, or PubMed. Okay, so these three are the best indexed, what we say, organizations or institutions. So they all have their own guidelines, and they accept the papers or the journals which are affiliated to these what we say, these organizations or these indexation organizations. They always follow the entire peer review process. Okay, so what is the peer review process? Suppose I submitted my paper to a journal that is either Scopus indexed, or maybe PubMed indexed, or maybe Web of Science indexed. So what they will do is, they will send it to at least 2 or 3 independent experts. Okay, those experts are known as reviewers, right? So though the editor or the journal will send my paper to 2 unknown independent reviewers. Okay, and those reviewers will analyze, will evaluate my paper on certain parameters. Okay, certain parameters means literature search. Okay, one thing is literature search, how good I am in the literature search, how correctly I search the literature, how correctly I mentioned, or I identified, or I what we say, talked about the issue, right? And then how important this research is, and how perfectly I am in the methodology part. Okay, how perfectly I'm in the methodology part, right? Like, how did I conduct my research, perfectly or not perfectly? Okay, then the statistical analysis. Okay, the fifth part is statistical analysis. So they talk about that. They give the marks, they give the ratings, they give the gradings according to these 5 factors, and then they rate the entire paper. And if there are major corrections or minor corrections, if they feel like there would be some questions, they send it to the author, right? And then we issue those things, and then they recorrect it. Okay, then they review and then send it back either for the publication, reject, acceptance, whatever is there. But independently they will review your entire thesis, they will review your entire paper, they will validate it. Okay, they will validate the results with statistics, they will validate the results with scientific writing, they will validate the results with how did you conduct, how neat and clean your methodology is, if it is perfectly fine or not. If they find something bothering, then they reject it, right? So peer review process is the validation process of your manuscript. Okay, the validation process of your paper, whatever you are submitting to the journal, right? So the papers or the literature which has gone through this peer review process are known as peer reviewed literature. Okay, so we can blindly what we say have a faith in the peer reviewed literature, that could be one of the good literature, that could be like okay believable. Okay, I will say that we can quote this literature without any doubt because that has gone through the peer reviewed process, right? And then there is a gray literature. So gray literature is something which has not gone through the peer review process, but that could be either I mean there is no validation, we cannot say that is validated perfectly, but there are some reports which do not need the peer review. You try to understand. Okay, so if something, there are some journals which just directly take the money, literally they ask for the money, they don't follow the peer review process, they publish your articles. Okay, so they do not follow the peer review process, and such journals give you the lot of hopes like okay we'll publish in 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. So there is no perfect peer review process. That's different task, that's different thing, we'll not talk about the controversy here. But the main thing here is when we are talking about gray literature, that is like not that much validated, and people don't believe on that, and people don't what we say the quote, people not cite that. Okay, so that all depends on the review process, and it lead to the citation. If you are publishing a peer reviewed process, or if you are publishing a peer reviewed literature in good journal, then there are the high chances of the citations, getting citations and getting quoted your paper in the different papers, different processes. But gray literature, it is like very hard to believe and very hard to cite in your good papers, in your good research, understand? So there's a difference between peer reviewed process and the gray literature. So if you read here, okay, let me come up with the one sec pointer. Okay, so here these articles, the peer reviewed articles, undergo the expert screening before publication to ensure meaningful within the context, okay, of other research in the discipline, and at least in the theory sound methodology. So everything is perfect, validated. But the gray literature refers to the material that is not formally published by commercial publishers or peer reviewed journals, okay, including some reports, fact sheets, white papers, conference proceedings, and other documents from the various organizations and the government agencies. So one thing I told, like there are some gray literatures which are not validated, but we can trust. Okay, but we can trust, such as government agency reports, such as various NGO reports. Okay, NGO means the government affiliated non-profit organizations like DST, what we say ICMR. Those are not non-profit organizations, but those are the government affiliated organizations. Okay, so if ICMR is publishing some report of some disease or some guidelines, those are not peer reviewed, but those are definitely evidence based, those are definitely we can believe, right? Those guidelines we can believe because those are coming from the government side, and those reports, those the magnitude of the problems, like the data about corona, the data about things, so we can probably cite those things without the validation process. Okay, so that's about the peer reviewed and gray literature. Now I'll come to the main thing, why literature search is very important, why you need the literature search. First of all, it is the reliable archive of scientific research. Literature means the databases, the books, journals, published papers. So these are reliable and achieve what we say the archives of the scientific research. This is the authentic data from the reliable sources, and this get all the evidences of research from the past. So whenever we need the evidences from the research from the past, we go for the literature search, and we definitely need some logics, and logics should be supported by the evidences, and that we get in the literature search. I think I have discussed these all, right? And it will help you in framing the right question right research topic and conducting the perfect research. And it will definitely help you in writing the papers, writing the thesis, right? So now the thing comes where to search. Okay, the important task here is like where to search the correct literature. Where to search the correct literature. So let me tell you. Searching is nothing but finding, selecting, and reading the sources from different types of sources or databases or books or journals directly, or Google Scholar, right? So first you have to find the literature with some key terms. Maybe like when we search in the Google, we keep the key terms like, okay, suppose I'm working on the diabetes right now. My work area is diabetes, young diabetes. So if I am writing about something which is related to my field, which is diabetes and cardiology. So if I'm talking about SGLT2 inhibitors, dapagliflozin, empagliflozin and all. So I'll find out the key terms. Okay, key terms means I'll talk about empagliflozin, I'll talk about SGLT2 inhibitor. So I'll just write SGLT2 inhibitors in any databases or maybe Google, right? So if I go to Google, I'll get millions of the results, not hundreds, not 10 or 100 or thousands, but millions of the result. And when you are searching in the Google, you will see just below the search line, you will see we found 16 lakh 1600, 16,000, 16 results in 0.0001 second. You will see, you might have not noticed that, but you will notice when you are searching. You just check when you are searching something in the Google, it will show we found this much results, millions of the results. Okay, millions of the results, and in 0.001 second or 0.04 second or something like that. So see, you do not have time to go through all the research papers. You do not have time to go through all the websites, all the 16 million or all the 1 million research, all the 1 million search which has given by the Google search engine, right? So you have to select, right? First is finding, you found. Now it is the time to select. So how will you select? First is like we call it overview search. Okay, overview search means you are just reading the titles. Okay, from this website this is showing, from this journal this is showing. You'll see, this is the brain work. Okay, you will see, okay, this article could be very much related, very much relevant to my thing, my thesis, my paper, my research. Okay, you will check it out, you will open it in the different web or different window, and then you will see some other articles you will open, and then you will read the abstract, right? So that means you are selecting the research. Okay, that is, I'm talking about the Google. Okay, but Google, encyclopedia or Wikipedia, these are not the reliable sources for the scientific search. I'll come to that in the next slide. Okay, there are the databases, and those databases also I'll tell, and I will tell you even how to search that with one example, right? So finding, selecting, you have selected some articles, and then you are reading those to get the content, right? So there are multiple types of the sources like library catalogs, periodical indexes, bibliographies, suggestions from your instructor, and there is primary versus secondary data. So whatever you want to believe, if there is no primary data, then there is secondary data. And one more important thing here, guys, you have to keep in mind when you are searching for the literature. Somehow, sometimes journals, what they do is, if my paper is perfectly fine, okay, so what they will do is they will take our permission. Definitely they will take the author's permission, but before sending it to the review process, if the editor finds the manuscript very well, if the editor, okay, focus, if I'm talking about editor, means editor, before the reviewers, if they found it good, they will ask our permission, and they will keep our entire manuscript in the website. If they find this area is very niche, this area is perfect, this area is quite emerging, and this needs to be there for the people. Okay, suppose new disease, suppose new drug, suppose side effects of the new drug. So they feel like, okay, this is something which should be there in the market right now, even before the review process. So what they do is they publish the paper without review process in the website, like upcoming or under review. Okay, so that can be also considered as the resource, as the source, as the literature, but as a secondary source until it is getting published, until it is getting peer reviewed. So what they will do, if it is rejected, they will remove it from the website. If it is accepted, they will keep in the peer reviewed process or in the upcoming issue, right? So that also can be considered as a source. Okay, that also can be considered as a source. And there are certain things which are very new in the market, but the relevant data is not published. So that's why they keep in the website. You can definitely cite that. Okay, you can write, okay, you took from this website, this is the journal, this is the under the publication or under the review. Okay, so that could be there. Then there are journals, books, guidelines, reports, government publications, websites. You can take the data from anywhere. Okay, you can search the online databases. You can extract from the different platforms like as I told, Cochrane Library, Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, NLM, Medline, multiple things are there. Okay, so you can extract the data and you can write and mention and emphasize in your publications, in your research. You can take the citations, but always don't forget to cite, don't forget to write in the bibliography, don't forget to give the credits. Okay, don't forget to give the credits if you are writing from anywhere. Okay, give the credits to authors if it is a paper. Like there are the formats of citation. If you are taking from the website, there are the different formats of citation. There are, if you are taking from the book, there are different sites, and the format of citations. You can just get it and cite. You can give the credit. You have to give the credit. Okay, so there are two important things about giving the credit when we are searching the literature and we are mentioning something, mentioning the literature. First thing is, if something is not correct. Okay, I'll tell about the negative part first. I mean, negative part, but it is positive for you if you are doing it. Okay, so if something is wrong, if something is not related, if something is not related to the evidences, you are giving the name, you are giving the credit to someone who has done that. So you are completely safe here. You are escaped from the problem. Right? Understand? The positive thing is you are giving the credit. Whoever has done the work, they are getting the proper credit and they cannot claim it later that this data belongs to them, not you. Okay, so in either ways you are safe here, positively, negatively, you are safe here. If you are giving the citations, it's very important to give the citations, it is very important to give the credits. Okay, so where to search? Here, these are the online databases. These are the online databases, guys. So first online database which everyone in India do, or which everyone in India go for, is Google or Wikipedia. Google or Wikipedia. So first of all, this is not at all the, what we say, not at all the reliable source. Okay, because here everyone can publish anything and that is not validated. In Google or Wikipedia, nothing is validated. Okay, so not a reliable source, and this is not the primary source. Okay, first thing, this is not the reliable source. Second thing, this is not the proper source, and citations of Google or Wikipedia are not at all allowed in the scientific publications. You might be doing, nobody's observing those, nobody's telling you, because they did not observe. If you are publishing in some bogus journals or anywhere, right? But if you are publishing in a good Scopus index journal, Scopus PubMed index journals, or Web of Science index journals, or the peer reviewed journals which are following ICMJ guidelines, they will not accept, because they clearly write in the guidelines that citations of Google and Wikipedia are not acceptable, because anyone can edit those, anyone can write that Wikipedia, anyone can write the Google, what we say, the blogs or the websites or anything, right? So those are not acceptable, right? But the advantage is also there of the Google and Wikipedia, because it can lead you to the correct work, right? In Google, when I'm talking about the 1 million or 16,000 or 16 lakhs of the the results in 0.04 second, that means that will give you the glance, okay, from where this literature is coming from, where this database is coming from, where this search is coming. If you click on that, either it will lead to the journal, I mean that will lead to the primary source, right? That will lead to the website, that will lead to the primary source of journals or book or website, anywhere, right? So this is something from where you can directly lead to the reference. This you can lead to the resource, primary resource. Okay, so that's why there are some advantages, there are some disadvantages. So always, it is preferred to go for the primary source. And if you don't know directly to go to the primary source, you can use Google or Wikipedia to go to the primary source. Okay, so then Google also, because Google is one of the very known name, very everyone knows about the Google, right? So Google also came up with something called scholar.google.com, right? So why they came up with this? Because no one can believe on the Google or Wikipedia general search engines. But if you are searching from the scholar.google.com, that means you are directly leading to the primary sources. Okay, scholar means you will not get the websites, you will not get the bogus journals, or you will, I mean, the whatever say the non-reviewed things, or maybe you are not going to the reports, publications, websites, and nonsense resources. Google Scholar will show you only the peer-reviewed journals and the reviewed journals. Okay, so that's why they came up with the Scholar for the researchers, for the academicians, for the students who want to search the literature, search the proper literature. Still, Google Scholar is not that much validated, because it sometimes shows the what we say non-reviewed journals, non-reviewed literature also. But that is far better than the Google. Okay, so always, if you want to search the journals, or if you want to lead to the the reference links or the primary sources, always go to the scholar.google.com. Okay, what's the difference between Google and Google Scholar? I told you, right? So Google Scholar is better than the Google, right? Now there are some more things which are used for advanced search, like PubMed. PubMed is nothing but the database of National Library of Medicine, NLM, and it is run by the National Institute of Health and National Center of Biotechnology Information, USA. Okay, USA. And then the website is this PubMed.nic. I'll take you through the PubMed.nic, ncbi.nlm and .nis.gov. And there is another thing which is known as Embase. This is Scopus. Okay, Scopus is from the Elsevier, and the thing is known as Embase. Okay, that is also the advanced search database, and that will show you only the peer-reviewed journals. Okay, Scopus, Elsevier, they will show you only the peer-reviewed journals, but not PubMed. Sometimes PubMed also shows only the peer-reviewed journals, because whichever is affiliated or instituted by the PubMed, that you will get there, right? And then there are other databases, Medline, Web of Science, Clarivate. Okay, Web of Science is number one right now, so you can get the data from Web of Science. Cochrane Library is the cochranelibrary.com. Science Direct is there. So these are the top of the advanced search databases. These are the top of the literature databases where you will get the reliable literature, right? These are the sites. Okay, and now when you are going to a site, when you are going to a database, how to search the data, that's very important. So there are 2 3 things what you must use, right? What you must use, one thing, and first foremost thing is keyword, right? Like if I'm going to website, or I'm going to the database, suppose I'm going to the PubMed or Scopus or Google Scholar also. Okay, Google Scholar also have the keywords and filtering. Okay, so I have one topic I'm working on, like sacubitril valsartan in heart failure management. That is one of the new drug. Sacubitril valsartan is a new combination of neprilysin inhibitors, right? And that is used for heart failure management, right? So this is a new term. So what kind of, this is my topic. Okay, this is my topic. So in this topic, what kind of keywords I can keep to search the literature? So keyword is nothing but, keyword means when you are going to search a literature, okay, you need some specific terms, either from your title or your or most relevant terms, we can say most relevant terms or most repeated terms, or around which the entire thesis or entire research is concentrated. Okay, those terms are known as key terms or keywords. Okay, so very important tool to search the advanced search. So it should be very specific, relevant to the question, topic, or the objectives, right? So example, when I'm talking about sacubitril valsartan in heart failure management, so what would be the key terms? Sacubitril is nothing but neprilysin inhibitor. So I can keep neprilysin inhibitor as an keyword. Okay, I can keep valsartan because this is one of the component of sacubitril valsartan. I can keep sacubitril. I can keep heart failure. I can keep different types of heart failure, heart failure with preserved ejection fraction, heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. I can keep certain things when I'm talking about the advanced literature search. So first thing is keyword. Then the filters. Filters are different types. Okay, I'll tell you in the PubMed when I'm searching in the PubMed. So filters means, see, you can keep the filters according to the duration. Like I want only the papers for last 5 years. I want papers only for last 2 years. I want papers for 10 years. I want papers for 2 decades. I want recent papers. I want old papers. So I want papers only from 1980 to 1990. So that kind of filters you can keep in the databases when you are searching for. Okay, and then you can keep the filters based on the age. You can keep the filters based on the gender. You can keep the filters on like full papers are available, or half papers are available, or abstracts are available. You can keep the filters even for the paid and non unpaid journals, like full text is available or not available. So you can get all type of filter. So based on your criteria, based on your inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, you can keep the filters. Okay, like kind of text, languages, age groups, article types. You want only systematic reviews, you want only cohort studies, you want only case control studies. So that could be done in the filters. Okay, and publication date, additional filters like gender and all, right? And then the third thing is mass word, medical subject headings. Medical subject headings means nothing but the disease specific things, or the procedure specific things. Okay, that also can be used for advanced search. And then the last thing what I want to tell is boolean operators. Okay, boolean operators or the specific phrases. Okay, when I'm talking about like kidney allograft, or when I'm talking about suppose kidney disease and grafting in the kidney, then certain phrases also I can keep, like kidney allograft. Either we can keep with hyphen or without hyphen. That can be done, and that can be kept as a phrase for the advanced search. Now most important thing is boolean operators. There are certain boolean operators like and, or, not, but. Okay, these are the major four boolean operators. Let me tell you how to use those boolean operators. Suppose I'll go to my previous example. I'm working on heart failure and the diabetes. Diabetes is my current area, and heart failure was my previous area, right? So I'm talking about heart failure and diabetes, and the treatment, I mean, or we can say the management of diabetes and heart failure together, right? Diabetes and heart failure. So when I am searching the literature, what I'll do, I will search the literature which has both the terms. Okay, heart failure and diabetes, right? And if I'm talking about the literature search, if I'm talking about the introduction, so I need to write something about heart failure only. I need to write something about only the diabetes, and I need to write about both as well, right? So when I'm searching in the database, I need boolean operators, right? I'm writing I want only diabetes, not heart failure in that. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll write diabetes mellitus, any either caps letters or small letters, anything. Okay, and I will write a boolean operator in between diabetes mellitus, not heart failure. Okay, and OT will be capital, right? And OT will be capital. So not is capital between two different keywords. Okay, here not is between the two keywords. Okay, so this not means I want data, I want papers, I want literature only on the diabetes, and these all literature, this all data what I'm getting is it will not have anything related to heart failure. Okay, not means only diabetes and nothing about heart failure. Otherwise there are papers which has diabetes, heart failure both. There are papers which has heart failure and diabetes, which are majorly on heart failure but having diabetes. These are papers which have the diabetes and minorly or majorly heart failure, but I want only diabetes, so I'll write diabetes mellitus, not heart failure, right? If I want both, only both, not like only diabetes or not only heart failure, I want both terms in one paper. or the papers which has both the terms. So what I'll write diabetes mellitus A and D. And is the Boolean operator in caps only, A and D, diabetes mellitus and heart failure. So all the literature, all the data which is coming will be having both the terms. Okay, the papers which will be having both the terms and published both the things. Okay, all the papers will appear like that. So, and if I want both, then I can write diabetes mellitus or heart failure. So whatever is available, diabetes or heart failure, everything will appear in the search, right? So that's how we use the Boolean operators. So as you can see here, and retrieves results that include all the search items, or retrieves results that include at least one search item, not exclude the retrieval terms from the research, right? So these are the Boolean operators. Okay, so with that, I hope you have a glance on like how to search, what is research, what is literature data, and what is literature search, and how to do that, what are the databases. Okay, now last slide, before we end this is the last slide, and then I'll go to the hands-on training for 5-10 minutes. So major part is you have searched the literature. You know from where you will get the literature. You got the literature in your hand. You got one paper. Suppose I'm not talking about one example. You got one paper which is talking about SGLT2 inhibitors, which is talking about heart failure, which is talking about diabetes, which is talking about the management of both. Right? One paper you got. Now the important part here is how you will take this paper, whether you want to take this paper or not, whether this paper is good or not, whether this paper is validated or not. Definitely, if you are taking from the Scopus index, whether you are taking from the, if you are taking, I mean not whether, if you are taking from the Scopus index or PubMed index or Web of Science index, that would be definitely validated, that would be definitely going through the what we say, the review process. But there are journals which don't care about the peer review. They are they did the hard work, they got into the indexation, but now they are focusing on the money, and they are looting the people, they are publishing anything. Okay, they are publishing anything. So this is your duty, before including any paper in your citation, that you go and critically appraise that paper, or you do the validation by yourself. Okay, that validation is already done. One validation is already done by the reviewers, that's there. But now if you are working on the like certain clinical trials which needs the critical appraisal papers only, which needs the critical appraised literature only, so this is your duty as an evaluator, as the investigator, as the researcher, to again revalidate or reappraise the paper or the literature, right? So before including into your citation or your bibliography, okay, or before you take the data from the literature, from the paper, right? So you have to critically appraise that paper or validate that. So there are two ways of validation. One is internal validation, one is external validation. So first thing is, you cannot jump to the external validation directly. Okay, you have to go through the internal validation first and then external validation. So what is internal validation? Internal validation is nothing but you are reading the paper and you are again evaluating the paper or mapping the paper on certain parameters. Those parameters are here: results, if the results are correct or not, if the participants are compared well, if the power of study is adequate, if it is randomized control trial, if the randomization is perfect, blinding is perfect, or study duration was correct or not, then what is the dropout rate, how did they justify the dropout rate, what is the objective, if the outcomes were measurable or not, if the outcomes were actually feasible or not, right? And then what is the statistical significance, what is the reported p-value, what are the reported confidence intervals, if they are valid or not. Okay, and what are the hidden sources of bias, if you feel there is a bias, if the paper is biased in the selection or in the analysis, or the data is manipulated, fabricated, anything, if you feel, that means the paper is internally failed. Internal validation is failed. Okay, so internal validation is nothing but you are checking the entire methodology and the results part, if they are correct or not. Okay, once they are correct, you will see like if the paper is good for the clinical significance or not, if it can be applicable in the society, if it can be applicable in the patients, if it can be applicable in the practice. that is called as external validation. So if the literature is failed in the internal validity, you cannot go to the external validity at all. So as you can see side, if internal validity is not met, then applicability means the external validation. Okay, applicability of your patient or practice with your paper is irrelevant. Okay, so you cannot go to the external validity if the internal validity is failed, right? So that's how you have to go to the that's how you have to validate your paper or your data or your published literature, and then only you can get that into your literature or your citation, right guys? So with that, I think I have covered enough to understand the literature search. So that's all, thank you very much, and then I'll just take you uh, through the PubMed. Okay, so you can understand how to do that practically. Okay, so let me share the okay, let me come up with the okay. So this is the PubMed. I hope sort of this is visible. PubMed. Sort of please confirm if the
Yes.
okay, great. So I'll take the
Yes,
example
yes,
of
PubMed this is.
yes, sir. Thank you very much. So I'll just take you through that example. What I'm taking is heart failure and diabetes and the management. Okay. So let me take you through the sacubitril valsartan only. Sacubitril valsartan in heart failure. It has come here. Okay. Then I'll go for the search. So see, now this is the journal. What we say, this is the general search. Okay, this entire thing is generally coming here. Entire thing is generally coming here. Now, how to make it perfect, how to filter it, that's important. Okay, like see, important thing here is to see 1620 results. So on sacubitril valsartan in heart failure, there are 1620 results. Okay, 1620 results. But I want to do a systematic review on this topic, sacubitril valsartan, I mean the neprilysin inhibitors in heart failure. So I need only the good papers, full text papers, and only for last 10 years. So how I will check the filters, how I will put the filters, I'll tell you here. Right, okay, so first go to this, my NCBI filters. Okay, this side, your left hand side is are the filters. Okay, are the filters. So first is results by year. Okay, if I want only for last 10 years, so what I'll do is I'll just drag this to 2013 to 2023. Okay, so my search is refreshed. That time it was 1625 something. Now it is 1614. Suppose I want only 5 years. Okay, so because sacubitril valsartan is very new, so only 5 years are there. So I'll take 3 years. Suppose 5 years. Okay, so 2018 to 2023. So now see, from 1600 to the result has come down to 1323 results. Okay, only 5 years. And then I want only free full text or full text, not abstracts. Okay, if I'm talking about free full text, which I can, suppose my university, my college is not, having the subscriptions to the journals. So I cannot, access those papers which are, not freely available for me, which are not under the subscription for me. So what I'll do is I'll go for the free full text. Okay, so I'll search the free full text only. So now look at this. Out of 1300 for last 5 years, only 809 results are there. Only 809 results are there. That means other 800 were not for my use. Right now, if I want, because I am talking about systematic review, I will look only for the meta-analysis, or I will look only for the randomized control trials, right? I'm taking only randomized control trials. Look at this. Look at the results. Out of 1600, 85 results are there only. Only 85 results are available now. So that means I sorted my time from maybe reading 1600 papers to only reading 85 results right now. Only 85 papers. Okay. In that also, I can go to that. Publication date, 5 years, I have already chosen there. Now I can go to the additional filters. Okay, additional filters, like there are additional filters not using maybe not useful for me, but there are useful for, these are useful for many other people who are working in the field of genetics, who are working in the field of other research, general science or law or anywhere, right? Like see, article types. What type of articles you want? You want newspaper, you want observational studies, you want patent educational handouts only, or you want practice guidelines only, or you want research support. There are hundreds of the types of research article. You can just get only whatever you want. Suppose in that, I want something which is okay, multi-center studies only, not the single center studies. I want multi-center studies, so I'll keep this, and then I'll keep on so. Okay, here 85 studies only they're showing. I mean, again, I'll keep the all filters. Okay, so there are species filters also. You want human studies or animal studies? Okay, so if you want only human studies, click on the humans. Article language, I want only the English language. Okay, I want only the English language, so I'll keep um English. Where is English? Here is the English language. I want the articles because I cannot read Chinese, Portuguese, or Romanian or Russian. So I'll need the journal articles only in the English, right? And then gender, I want both the genders. So male and female, both the genders I'll need. Then age group, if I want only in adults or newborns and child health. If your suppose your research is on the children, okay. If your search is only on the, if your result research is only on the adult, if your research is only on the generic population, so whatever the published in the different age groups also you can search here. Okay, suppose I want the papers only age 65, 65 plus, and middle aged, and like more than 40. Okay, middle aged only 40, more than 40. So I'll do that. And there are other filters as well, like excluding medline, excluding reprints and all. So age, so I'll just keep the so. Okay, and then I'll see. So okay, then I'll search with that. Okay, so 85 results only. Okay, so those all 85 are meeting all these criteria, whatever I was searching for. So now I can read these 85 papers easily, and I can get whatever I need. Okay, whatever I need, I can take all those, right? And in this, again, one very important thing what I want to show is advanced search you can go for. Okay, you can filter all the things here only out of these, and you can download the entire 85 papers whatever are in the search. You can download all the titles in the Excel sheet, and then you can filter out all the 85 papers. You can just search out, you can just read, you can just download, and you can add to even your library. You can make your library here in this PubMed only. You can make your profile. Like if I log in, I'll make my profile, and those all 85 I can add to my profile, and I can see anytime. Okay, I can come back to PubMed anytime, and I can see those all anytime, whenever I want. Right, guys? So with this, I think I gave a glimpse on the literature search. With that, thank you very much. Over to you, Saurabh sir, and GD Gupta sir.
Thank you so much, Ajit sir, for your insight talk on the literature review. I hope our audience will definitely rewatch this. This is very scientific, significant title today you have chosen for. We have Director Sir, Dr. G.D. Gupta Sir with us, and IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Siddharth Mehan Sir with us. So on behalf of ISF College of Pharmacy, we all really thankful for you for.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ajit Singh.
Thank you, sir.
And you have given a very, very important information to the students. And I hope that in the last you have given how to search, how to put the filter as per your need. As we know that even today, one of the difficulty of the student how to search the literature, because I know that the habit of the student is the study is very, very less, and they want to. So this types of the software and this types of the application is the highly useful as per the need of the student. So in the especially in the field of the pharmacy, or you can say in the field of the what types of the things you design on the basis of the patient consideration, male, female, age group, and they are suffering from particular disease, not disease, taking medicine, not medicine, like that. So this types of the filter and this types of the application very, very useful to the student, so that they come to know the proper literature and they can design their study accordingly. As
Yes,
we
sir.
know that if you have the strong literature and a strong thought process related to your project, then you can say literature is the half done of the work. So this is known as the well begin is the half done. If you can go through the literature,
Absolutely.
because I know that when I was doing the PhD and I have started with the one topic and one of the drug, and I come to know that within 3 year number of the publication in the available in the market. So nowadays things are in the very speedy and very fast on track. So a student they can easily do track the thing where this types of the work is going on. So thank you very much, Dr. Ajit Singh ji, and I know that you are doing the good work in the for the profession, student, researcher, and the academician, and it will be the helpful to the each and everybody. I feel that, but now need to the interactive to the each other and utilization of the things whichever available online as well as the offline mode. So
Yes, sir.
from core of my hearts, I am thankful to you as well as I am thankful to our
Good.
IQAC
Thank you, sir.
team,
Thank you, sir.
coordinators of ISF Dialogue Series to provide this types of the opportunity. The main purpose of this ISF Dialogue Series, let us consider this your video or this your talk, it will be the available our YouTube channel. So number of the person they will involve and they will interact to you, yeah, how we can do the work and how Dr. Ajit Singh and their system or their you can say available which will be the useful to me. So this is the interactive session is there. What when we the involve and we the interact to you, yeah, how we can do the work and how we can do the available is there. What when we the involve and we the interact to you, it will be the very useful to you. Everything is the available on the site, everything is the available on your hand. So nowadays how we can provide or facilitate the things in a simple manner so that it can be useful to the all. So thank you very much and thanks to all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ajit Singh, for your talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.